Hey, welcome to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast, a member of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. Uh, if you want me to help you with your letter of intent and professionally edit up to 3, so I'll help you with the first one. We'll get through and get that one perfect, and then I can help you with the other 2. Contact me at aaguerra@dmacc.edu or Tony Pharm.D on LinkedIn. So let's start with letter of intent question number 2. So why do you want to do a residency at this site? And this brings me to the letter of intent, which is if you wrote a generic letter of intent that didn't really take into account the trade-offs that you have to make as you go from one to another, then this question is going to be a little bit tougher. But if you did the hard work as you're working through your letters of intent, and it doesn't have to be a complete rewrite, and I'll tell you a little bit about that, then it's not so bad. So the first thing is that there are the five different areas that I think that you should address. And you can address 3 of them or if you really want to, but there are 5 to choose from. Clinical, certainly, research, teaching, leadership, and clinical, leadership, research, teaching, and service. Okay, so those are the 5. And what you would want to do is match up your best and what you're most interested in, hopefully those are the same thing, with the sites. So when you're answering this question, you should have already on your letter of intent, and it doesn't have to be different for every site completely, but if a site is a research institution attached to a college of pharmacy, then clinical research and teaching are probably that part of it. But if you are going to some ambulatory care area and a part of it is really, there's a lot of service involved, then probably clinical, maybe teaching and clinical teaching and service are going to be the 3 big ones you talk about. And so the way that you address this is that you're really saying, this is how I fit, without saying this is how I fit. So the first thing you say, of course, is thanks for asking the question. And you be very positive about it. And you want to really get that tone going so that as you're going through these answers, you're really kind of crushing it. So you'll first talk about your clinical competence, and the way that you talk about it is with a story. So let's say you are going to apply for an ambulatory care residency. I had a really amazing interaction with this particular patient. This was what was wrong, and I was able to catch it because of this innovation that I made. And because of that innovation, we really saved her a lot of pain and heartache. And it can just be a 3-sentence story, but it has to be one that really is meaningful. And if it's on the letter of intent, it kind of brings them back to, okay, well, now I remember which applicant this is. It reinforces the story, and it shows that, yeah, okay, this guy's really got this information in their back pocket. Second thing I might talk about is, if I'm looking at that ambulatory care, I might talk about teaching and mentoring and how I've been working one-on-one with some people and how I really enjoy the counseling aspect of it. And that's what I love to do. I could do that mentoring every day because that's what you will be doing every day. And that lets them know, okay, not only are they clinically competent, but they're competent in teaching. But maybe your residency site serves a population that isn't in a wealthy area, and really your ability to serve more people with fewer funds or fewer resources, and maybe you've done that, and maybe you set up an event and brought together people and volunteers and things like that with very little money or very little funding, and then you show them through that example as well. So 3 stories, tell a story, make a point that you are clinically competent to go one-on-one and mentor and teach ambulatory care patients, and that you have the heart and the backing that in the past you have provided this service and that you belong at that site. So when you talk about why do you want to do a residency at this site, and let's say it's that ambulatory care site, what you're doing is you're really matching those 3 out of 5 from the clinical, research, teaching, leadership, and service that go with that site, and making it clear that, hey, you know what, we're a match. And you don't even have to say, hey, we're a match. It just becomes so evident and so clear. But don't forget that you need to summarize your answer so that they have time to write down. Don't just burn through it. Just go, so clinically, I am. And then with teaching, that mentorship piece. And then with service, the specific event or interaction that you had in service that made it so meaningful to not only you but to the patient, and that will make you a great addition to their residency team.